Nation Broadcast Network. KSAM Huntsville, your hometown.
Texas. How's everybody doing today? Can you guys hear me back there all right? All right. We got a new little speaker system, so it's hard for me. I can't hear what's going on, but if Brian back there says that he can hear it, I know that we're good. So I want to welcome everybody. It's already week number 3, if you can believe that. Of course, we just had our first game a week ago, but very honored to be here tonight. I was out last week, Coach, and we were there traveling with Sam Houston on the football side, so appreciate Carlos stepping in. And you didn't give him too hard of a time, Coach. I thought you were going to be a little hard on him.
No, he actually did a good job and got us going at the right time. And he actually ended earlier than you and I normally do, so people were probably excited about that, too.
So maybe, Carlos, I know you're back at KSAM. Maybe we'll get you back out here again, Now, well, Coach, appreciate you. Before we dig into it, just want to give a big thank you to our good friends here at True Texas Barbecue. Thank them for sponsoring this show every Wednesday. And we got a little surprise tonight. So many of you have been coming to the show, and to encourage more folks to come out. As the season goes on, we'll start to see more and more people come out. But we have bought and created 4 limited edition footballs. And what we're going to do with those is every time you come to the show, there's some papers that you can fill out in front and put your name on there. You get 1 entry per show. Put it in the white box, and on the very last show of the season, as Brian Carroll's rushing up here. Yeah, he's got it right there. On the very last show of the season, we're going to draw for those footballs. And, Coach, I figured you'd be okay with this. At each show, I'm going to get the kids to sign the footballs, and we're going to have those next week.
Absolutely.
And so if you come out, if you come 10 times, then you have 10 entries. If you come once, you have a low probability. So the key is come out and fill out the form and be registered for that football. It's a limited edition. It's got the Buzzy logo on it and then our KSAM Sports logo. So it's something that you're definitely going to want to have, and it'll be a lot of fun. Well, Coach, let's dig into it. Let's go back. Defeated Willis 43-31 last week. Great win to get the season started. Little tough at first, trailing 10-0 to get that ball game started, but then following up, I believe it was 6 consecutive touchdowns. A.J. Wilson, 13-21 through the air. He had 151 yards and 4 of those scores. Justin Butcher had an incredible night as well. 2 touchdown grabs, of course, and then returned that kick for a touch as well. But, Coach, a slow start to this one, a turnover, then a block punt. It gave Willis really excellent field position. I mean, what'd you tell the kids at that point when they trailed 10-0?
Well, the biggest issue, we started out with some clock issues and got a couple delay of games, and then I think – A.J. knew probably as soon as he let that ball go that was not a good decision. And luckily for us, defensively, we were able to hold on after the block punt and were able to, even with a quote crisis like that and you're down 10 points, you still, you've got an opportunity. And we've got some mature kids, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and they just need to settle down. And, of course, we've stressed this year, and we're going to continue to stress special teams and the ability to block kicks and score on special teams. And, of course, we scored 2 touchdowns. But I think when Butcher ran the kickoff back, I think that kind of got us back in the game, obviously. And then from that point, I thought offensively we played well and played well enough defensively to stretch a lead. And then when it got to 23, we, tried to get a bunch of guys in the game and gave up a cheap one that we probably shouldn't have. But, again, first game after them already having a game. And, we had this same situation a year ago. And I thought our kids handled it well under the circumstances.
Coach, the offense, just mentioned them, they found rhythm. Defense started to make plays as the game went on. I don't want to harp on the defense because it's young guys and they're learning and growing. But do you feel like because of that young defense and just as they continue to grow, you're going to have to really rely on the offense a lot more as the season goes on? Kind of your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you look offensive line-wise, and I thought probably for the first game, our 5 to 7 offensive linemen that played a lot in the game, I thought played extremely well. We had a couple breakdowns pass protection-wise, but I thought our run blocking was really good. So we know that's where our strength is right now because of experience. And you know, you can't put a dollar value, you can't put a price on experience, because the only way to get experience is to get out there and probably get your nose bloodied every now and then. But because we've been able to do that, we're going to rely on some seniors who have played a lot of football for us, and those young guys defensively, and some of those guys that are just inexperienced. They're not young, but you know, you start a 5A varsity football game with 2 freshmen on the field the other night for the first time. So that will come. It'll take time, but we're not as big as we have been defensively, especially up front. So people are going to probably try us a little different than what they have in the past couple years, but we'll adapt to that. Our kids will play hard, and hopefully we'll continue to score offensively.
And kind of looking at it from a different perspective, it's got to be exciting also to have such young guys, because they're just going to grow and get better as the program goes on. What do you think about that?
Well, I thought if you just looked the other night, you know, we still got some offensive linemen, for example. There's 3 or 4 of those guys that played a lot the other night that are juniors. So we'll have all those guys back again next year. You know, Juwan Giddings played really well as a fullback and as a tailback, and he also played a few snaps at quarterback. You know, he's a guy that we've got 2 more years. So, you know, experience is a key thing, but at the same time, you've got to get experience in order to be an experienced player. And then you go on the defensive side, you know, confidence is probably one of the biggest things defensively, because you know what to do, you know what they're going to do. You know, the only play we saw the other night that we had not prepared for was the draw they ran for a touchdown. And, you know, that was well designed and a good football play. So, you know, you look at all that and you say, yeah, our program should be at a point now where every year we're going to have guys leave and we're going to have guys replace them, and we should be, from a transition standpoint, we should be able to handle that every year.
Coach, we were talking about some of the leadership. Calvin Simmons moved from linebacker. And you know me, I don't typically like to call out individual guys. I like to give credit to all the team. But in this particular case, Calvin Simmons moved from linebacker to the defensive line and had 2 sacks and then 2 tackle for losses in that game. How much of an impact does that have, kind of shifting him around?
Well, I think it gives us number one, it gives us a power guy. You know, Calvin's a big, strong kid. He's put on about 15 pounds of muscle since last year. He's probably one of the top 5 strongest guys we've got. He gives us a natural pass rusher, you know, and then what we're going to see down the road with A&M and Brian Rutter and some of the teams in our district, they're going to throw the football around. So we've got to be able to get pressure with 4 guys, because that was probably one of our biggest deals a year ago, is to be able to get pressure without blitzing. So now you can drop 7 guys in coverage. And I thought Calvin the other night, of course, we had him running down on some kickoffs too, and we'll pull him off some of that as we get further along. But, you know, I thought he played pretty well, considering that's the first game he's ever played where he played defensive line in the entire game. And he wasn't the only one. There's other guys up front. Troy Joseph, of course, is here tonight to talk to us a little bit. His first varsity start in there. So, you know, they're young guys in terms of experience, but they're pretty good football players.
Coach, finally, what'd you tell the kids after the game?
Well, the one thing and I've told them this for the last couple of years, and I told them I'm probably one of the worst there is about this. You know, when you win games, it's hard to win football games at any level. You know, I told them because we don't have a, quote, home when we're there. When we finish, we kind of got to pack everything up and leave like a road game. I told them, make sure to go hug your family and enjoy, for the amount of time we have there, enjoy the success of winning. You know, and we've won a lot of football games here the last 4 years, and, you know, I'm sitting there as soon as the game's over, I'm thinking about, okay, what time do we practice tomorrow? You know, what's Kingwood doing? When, you know, is the film there? You know, there's so many other factors that go into our job as coaches. What time are we coming in Saturday morning? And they don't want to hear all that. They want to enjoy the fact they just won a football game.
your thought process and mine are different naturally because I'm a broadcaster, you're the coach, and I'm thinking as soon as the game's over, Coach, how long is it going to take us to get the equipment out of here, and then where are we going to eat afterwards? So I always like hearing your perspective, Coach. Finally, as we go through that game, I talk a lot about skill positions, but there's so much more to a football game than your skill positions and those. Maybe highlight some of the special teams and those guys' effort in that first game.
Well, we've stressed that this off season. We stressed it during the summer. A block kick normally in a game will get you potentially a better than a 50% chance of winning the game, just one block kick. Well, we gave up a block kick, and obviously it could have impacted the game, but we have really stressed, I think what our coaches do and how we prepare kids in the special teams, obviously 2 big plays. The fake field goal the other night, probably the best executed that I've seen that probably since we've been doing those things. And we're going to add one every week, and we're going to have those things if we need them. Now, obviously, people are going to recognize and go, hey, we got to prepare for all that. Well, when they're preparing for that, they're not doing the other things in their practice time that hopefully they're not spending as much time on our offense and defense, and it creates a situation. Christian Avalar's been our kicker now for 3 years. AJ punted the other night. We're doing some things there to hopefully, if we have to change a game, we're not out of our element in terms of special teams. We're ready to go in there and make a play. We were stressing blocking kicks the other night, and I knew if they ever kicked the ball to Justin Butcher the other night, there was a good chance we'd run the kickoff back. And of course, the bad thing of that, now they probably won't ever kick the ball deep to us again. So, but you also now force a team to do something they may not want to do. So special teams is truly supposed to be a third of the game, but a lot of people don't spend that much time on it. We have purposely done that, and we're going to continue to do it.
Well, Coach, as always, appreciate your time here in this first segment. We'll step aside for a few moments. When we come back, we'll look ahead to this week's matchup versus the Kingwood Mustangs right back at home at Bauer. Stay with us, friends. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with head coach Rodney Southern. We'll be back in a moment right here on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network.
Parents, do you want your child's shoes to fit perfectly? Then you need to get your kids Skechers Stretchfit shoes, because Skechers Stretchfit shoes are so comfortable and so stretchy, they easily slip on and fit almost like a sock. Your child is constantly moving and constantly growing, so they need a shoe that moves with them. And Skechers Stretchfit's soft, stretchable material contours to their busy feet. It's a perfect fit. And not only do they fit like a dream, they perform like one too. Skechers Stretchfit keeps your child's feet comfortable all day long. With Skechers' exclusive air-cooled memory foam and a breathable stretch fit knit, your child will be cool and comfy whether playing, studying, or just hanging out. Plus, you'll love just how durable they are. Stretch Fit is designed to take everything your child can throw at them, and if they get dirty, just pop them in the washing machine. It's that easy. Give your kids perfect comfort that adjusts to them with Skechers Stretch Fit shoes. Find them at a Skechers store near you, Skechers.com, or wherever kids' shoes are sold.
Celebrate the beginning of autumn at the Win Home Arts and Visitor Center. The Win Home will be hosting a free harvest celebration on Saturday, September 25th from 5 to 7 p.m. This event will be fish and contact the Win Home Arts and Visitor Center, 936-291-5424, or stop by the Win Home at 1428 11th Street in Huntsville. The Win Home Arts and Visitor Center harvest celebration Saturday, September 25th from 5 to 7 p.m.
All right, friends, getting back after it here from True Texas Barbecue. How's everybody doing tonight? All right. I like getting people clapping, getting them. This is going to be the recurring theme. Y'all got used to it last year, and as our Hornets continue to play well, it's going to be like this all season. So thank y'all for coming out, supporting the Huntsville Hornets. I always talk highly of our kids, and Coach does as well, and just how special it is to be in this community and to be surrounded by great folks like Coach Southern and you guys here in the audience and supporting these kids. At the end of the day, of course, that's what it's all about. Coach, before we look ahead, I did want to give a very quick special recognition. I always tell our sponsors that show up in person, I want to give them recognition. Miss Stephanie Pitts from Advantage Specialties, thank you for being here tonight. Mr. Sam Moak, a longtime supporter of the Hornets. Thank you, Sam. Good to see you, my friend. And then we got a special guest in the house tonight, man.
Oh.
Mr. Justin Kring over here. He played for you
Yes,
a
he
few
did.
years ago. So, Justin, good to have you, man. So he's always fired up about the Hornets. He said, Coach, I wish that y'all would have had this for me when I played.
Yeah.
And, Justin, I'm sorry, man. I didn't get here quick enough for you, buddy. But he's here now, and he's supporting. So we appreciate that. Coach, we look ahead, of course, Huntsville facing the Kingwood Mustangs coming up on Friday at 7:30, right back at home at Bowers. Last year, the Hornets shut them out 21-0. The Mustangs currently 0-2, and I always say it doesn't matter where you're at. You're 0-2. You're always going to be hungry for a win. They opened the season on the road with a loss at Cypress Woods, 21-7, and then they were shut out in their home opener just a week ago versus Conroe, 42-0. Coach, again, you know, it's a team that's maybe not high up there in any type of numbers or rankings, but it's always – you never know what's going to happen on any given night. Tell us a little bit of just the preparation heading into this one versus Kingwood.
Well, the first unusual things, obviously you got a Labor Day situation and we always try to get our practice done in the morning and get that out of the way so the kids at least have a little bit of time in the afternoon to kind of relax before you, from that point forward, you know, hopefully we're practicing all the way till Christmas break. But the good thing about this situation is, you know, we got them at home. You know, a year ago I thought this was a game that we physically played really well in some spots, but we didn't make the explosive plays that I think we're capable of making. And a 21-0, I'll take it any day. But, you know, you finish a game like that a year ago and you felt like you didn't play as well as you were capable of playing. Now, it was our first road game, you know, in a little tougher situation. It had been raining and all those things, and that's no excuse. But I didn't think we played as well then. This week they're a little bit different. You know, they're in the second year of their program, so obviously they've got more installed. They've got more things that they're trying to do, but they got hit with graduation pretty hard in terms of numbers. But obviously they're a bigger 6A, so they've got a lot more numbers than we do. They're playing 2 JVs and 2 freshman teams, and you know, that eventually catches up with you at some point. But good thing is hopefully we've caught them early enough, and we're prepared. I know we're prepared physically, but we've got to sharpen up some things and finish up tomorrow in terms of all the little things that you do when you have to kicking game involved, and they'll be ready to go Friday night.
Coach, again, this season opening up against a couple of 6A opponents, and I know that, you know, Will is fairly new to 6A, of course, so they're having some early growing pains in that division. Then facing Kingwood at a 6A, those higher divisions, how does it fare against you guys, and does that help kind of build a little bit more strength? Because as you just mentioned, those teams have a lot more kids that they can pick from.
Well, the biggest thing that's different, you know, at the varsity level, you're only going to put a certain number of kids on the field. You know, we dressed 46 guys the other night, and you know, that's about average for us. We've dressed as high as 55, you know, in our time here. We've dressed as low as 42 before. So, you know, that part of it really doesn't change because you're going to rely on a certain number of kids as far as what you're trying to accomplish. The thing that a 6A program does is just the amount of depth that you have at the lower levels. And that sometimes that can be an issue. Now, fortunately, you know, we beat them at all 3 levels last year, and hopefully we can start on that tomorrow night with a JV and freshman. But, you know, numbers at some point, big 6A numbers and 5A Division II numbers, you know, you're talking sometimes a difference in 1,000 kids in high school. So, but, you know, a year ago we really had a struggle trying to find teams around this area to play us. You know, we were coming off 12-2 and 9-4, and, you know, people don't want to play you sometimes. So we'll continue to look next year in terms of realignment, trying to find 5A. But if we have to play a 6A, then, you know, we'll figure out a way to compete with them.
Fans are typically pretty excited about rankings. I know at the coaching level you guys don't really put much into that other than, hey, we're doing good. Let's keep doing what we're doing. From your perspective, you know, how do the kids react to whenever they hear they're number 4 in the state? And kind of what do you tell them that, hey, we're out here playing a game, but what do you tell them about the ranking? Well,
a couple things with rankings. I think it helps us in terms of exposing our program to other people. But I also tell them most of the people that are doing or involved in those rankings have never played high school football. And they darn sure hadn't coached it or prepared a team for it. So, you know, but it's their job to look at that. And I tell them most of the time they look at your returning starters and they look at your JV record. Well, our JV record's pretty consistent. We were 8-2 last year. We've been, you know, we've had 8 wins, I think, every year for the last 4 or 5 on the JV because I feel like that's important. So, But when we consistently get noticed now, that's good for our program. It's obviously good for our community. You know, we're going to have Dave Campbell's Texas Football there Friday night, doing a little recognition of Lisa Blackburn, our administrative person who kind of keeps everything going for us. So, you know, just the exposure is a good thing, but, you know, you better understand that ranking means what you did last week, not what you did this coming week.
Coach, you mentioned earlier, kind of heading into this week, that there's a few things from the first game. What are some areas that maybe you recognize, without giving too much away, that you said, hey, we've got to work on against Kingwood as we move into this second game of the season?
Well, normally your first game, and there's a lot of coaching talk about you make the biggest improvement between your first and second game, because I think you find out, do we have everybody in the right spot? And you hope going into a game you've got everybody in the right spot. Now, the next thing is the things that we had going in game plan. Just like, you know, their first two kickoffs to us were short kicks, and our intention was to get the ball in a certain place, and they went against every tendency they had, so we had to make an adjustment on the sideline. And the good thing, you know, we've got Bun Shelley as our center on our kickoff return, and he's an experienced football player, and he adjusted on the field the third kickoff return, and of course we ended up running it back for a touchdown. So those kind of things are things that, you know, I'll give Bun all the credit, because when he looked at me and did what he did, I said, I understand. And you know, you want your kids to be that confident in what they're doing and their ability. Just like when they onside kicked the ball, you know, at that surprise time, Bun, you know, he said, Coach, I felt like a shortstop for a second. And, you know, that's what you want. You want your players to go make plays. And, you know, but at the same time, you look and say, okay, these things worked well. I thought we ran the ball well. We got to get better pass protection, but that's going to depend on, you know, what we're seeing in terms of fronts. You know, Kingwood's going to give us a different front than what we practice against a lot of times during the day. So we've got to prepare for those kind of things, but you want to be able to add every week, just like we're going to add to special teams. You want to be able to add offensively and defensively and be prepared for whatever, because Kingwood's working on stuff too.
You mentioned just a few moments ago, just some, you know, they're going to play a different type, a different style. As I ask you every week, just maybe some positions or players to keep an eye out for on the Kingwood side of the ball. Well,
you know, a big school like that, they graduated, I think, 39 or 40 seniors. So there's some guys that are their kind of go-to guys. They've struggled moving the ball. You know, they've scored one touchdown in 2 games. And that scares you as a coach, because obviously you want to keep them struggling to move the football. Defensively, I think their front 3 down guys, they rely a lot on them, and their 2 inside backers are guys that have some experience, and they want to kind of make you make plays on the perimeter, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that. You know, offensively, they've struggled a little bit, because I think they really want to be a run-heavy football team. But the 2 teams they played were able to control the line of scrimmage, so it makes you kind of left-handed, for lack of a better word. So I don't think they want to throw the ball as much as they've had to. So I think, you know, if we can control the line of scrimmage and make their run game go east and west instead of north and south, and then offensively, when we have opportunities to take a shot, we got to make some big plays.
Speaking of left-hand, how many lefties do we have in here? You know, I've always wondered, how many left-handed people in here? All right, hey, I knew that right there. That's why I knew right there, man. I play basketball, coach, and I'm left-handed. So the first couple of times I play, you know, the first few minutes, everybody thinks, man, this guy's pretty good. But then they figure out I only go left. And then, you know, I've been playing a little Friday ball, man. I can't keep up with those guys. Well, Coach, finally, just another question that I like to ask every week, just to give us some insight. How practice has been this week? I know we're early into the week, but how has that been? And just kind of how's the health coming out of that first game?
Well, you know, we went Monday morning, and we had a really good practice Monday morning. And then Tuesday is our work day. You know, we go out in the morning during our athletic period, and, you know, everybody was kind of bouncing around because it was 67 degrees. You know, so you kind of felt a little bit of that, okay, it's might be getting close to football weather. This afternoon is more of a 2-minute drill and some auxiliary things in terms of special teams. So we've had 3 really good days, and, we are in such a routine now with practice that, we don't have to change it drastically in order for us to get the work done. We lifted this morning and, we're on a routine now, hopefully from this point forward. But, overall it's been really good. We're into week 4, so we've been hitting grades and doing some recognitions of some teachers and trying to, do the other things that your football program should do at your high school.
Can we give a round of applause for that? Coach just talked about academics, teachers. I know you mentioned at Lisa Blackbird getting a little recognition and all the work that she does. And Coach, a little bit different tonight. I always ask the kids who they want to shout out to. Now, I'm not going to ask you that. We always do that at the very last of the season, Coach. But for you, just maybe some insight to you a little bit more. I wanted to ask you this just so our audience can connect with you a little bit more. What really got you into coaching, and who has kind of been a mentor for you? I know every coach kind of has a coach that's their mentor. Do you mind explaining a little bit of that to us, Coach?
No, that's a really good question. And before I answer that, though, shout-out-wise, I do have to say one thing. Today is my 31st wedding anniversary,
All right.
So if I don't say something about that.
See, that's why the good Lord put this question on my heart, Coach. We would have not known, so congratulations.
Well, you kept me out of hot water on that one, too.
That's
so.
awesome.
One of the things that, a lot of coaches and a lot of guys will tell you they got into coaching because of the impact that somebody in their life as a coach had. I probably am one of the few that it was the opposite. I loved the game of football in high school, and some of my coaches were good people, but some of them were not very good coaches. I saw how not to do it, and I knew when I got into this business that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. Sometimes coaches get caught up in success and winning so much that they lose sight of what their real job is. And, and I've told these kids before, if they're better people and better men when they leave us, I really don't care how many games I win. Now, we all love winning, obviously, and success does a lot of things for you, but if I'm not making them better human beings and better people, and we're not putting examples in front of them with coaches that understand all that, then, I think you're in the wrong business if you're doing that.
Well, Coach, I always appreciate just how you are with the kids and the community. I'm going to give you a round of applause for that. Thank you for what you do. And, your staff does the same thing, Coach. It starts with the leadership at top with Dr. Shepard and how he runs the district, and then down through you guys. And of course, we appreciate all you do. Coach, last question, just final thoughts before we break out and talk to some of these young guys.
Well, it's exciting to have a different group of guys here, having an O lineman and a D lineman here tonight, and it's exciting. We appreciate the fact that, what you do and what KSAM is doing for us to help us with all this, because it's a chance for them, again, to grow as human beings and get up here and be nervous. And I know Thomas is going to be nervous when he gets up here, but it makes them better people, and that's a good thing, and we really appreciate the relationship. And let's go get another W.
Let's do it. It's funny you mentioned that with the kiddos, because I saw guys like A.J. Wilson who were scared to talk that first show, and now they don't want to stop talking. Yeah. So that's just a message to you guys. We'll do one, and then as the season goes on, you're like, man, let me talk some more. So, well, Coach, we appreciate you. This will wrap up our second segment. Let's give it up one more time, Head Coach Rodney Southern. We'll step aside. We'll take a break for a few moments, and we will speak to the junior offensive lineman, Mr. Thomas Rose. That coming up when we come back. Stay with us. This is the Hornet Nation Coaches Show with Head Coach Rodney Southern here on the KSAM Sports Network.
So I'm here with Clint Mack from Wiesner of Huntsville. And Clint, can you tell me why it is you have so much repeat business?
I guess really is the fact that we treat everybody like a family member. We look at our customers as family members, and we've been doing it for the past 26, 27 years.
Now, you get different generations as well, correct?
Yeah, we do. One of the craziest things is when you sell a grandchild the vehicles that you've been selling their grandparents. So 3 generations and going on 4.
Well, you've heard from Clint Mack at Wiesner of Huntsville, and if you haven't tried Wiesner of Huntsville, go do so. You'll be glad you did.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it has to be El Gordo Taqueria at 611 11th Street in Huntsville. Check out their new outside deck. It's big and roomy for dining pleasure. El Gordo Taqueria has new menu items, including the combination plate, Gordo special plate, burrito Texan fried whole tilapia, chicken burger, Tex-Mex chicken enchilada, BLT sandwich, and the El Gordo burrito. Place your order today. Dine in or carry out. And remember, you can get breakfast all day, every day, as well as their burritos, tacos, amazing amazing nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, and gorditas. So do yourself a favor. Make it El Gordo Taqueria. Now available delivery to you from DoorDash. That's El Gordo Taqueria. Open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And now open on Sundays, 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. For the absolute best authentic Mexican food in Huntsville, it's El Gordo Taqueria. Call them at 936-295-TACO. That's 295-8226. Try it once and you'll be hooked. El Gordo Taqueria.
All right. You guys having fun tonight here at True Texas Barbecue? Oh, man. I get a plate of barbecue this year. They offered it to me last year. I just didn't want to, I got nervous, man. It's like you don't eat before a game, right? You don't eat a big meal. Well, I used to not eat before I broadcast. Now I'm starting to eat a little bit of food before I get on. So I get here about 4:30 so I can get a little bit of bite in, man. So, well, let's give it up. We got our junior offensive lineman, Thomas Rose, in the barbecue house tonight. Thomas, good to see you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Well, I told you a while ago when you sat down, I said, you look like a broadcaster, man, so you may have a career with us afterwards, But you probably don't want to go down that route, do you? What are you wanting to do, man?
Well, I hope to go to Baylor.
All right. We got Baylor fan. I'm a Baylor fan. Big Baylor fan. Sick 'em,
yes,
baby.
sir.
Got any other Baylor fans in the house? Got any? Well, we share a kind of a bear here in Huntsville. Any Bearcat fans in the house? We got any of those? All right, there we go. Well, cool, man. What are you focused on with Baylor? I really like where you're going with that, man.
Well, I hope to study biology, and because my mother, that's what she teaches at SAM. She's a lab coordinator there, and so I've been surrounded by that my entire life, and so that's what I'm interested in.
So Miss Rose in the house tonight. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it when mamas show up. Man, you're a junior, sophomore, of course, last year. You started, I know you shared it with Ethan Casas. We were talking a little bit before we went on here, but you shared that with Ethan last year, played in every game. This year, now a junior. So you've still got another year coming up. And I think it's so remarkable that you're already thinking well into the future about where you want to be to school and all that. It's really good. But as a junior on the team, man, who are you looking up to? Who kind of guides you right now?
Well, I look to the coaches.
That's
number one.
That's a good answer. We always start with that.
Coach Brock and Coach Saint, they guide us through and keep us moving even when we're tired and don't want to do sleds or board drills at all. They yell and motivate us.
What do they tell you? Now, don't say the exact words, but kind of what do they do to motivate you?
Well, something along the lines of, "Step with that right foot, Rose."
I like it. Okay. Great, man. Last season, a lot of success last season. You guys are undefeated in district. You moved through, got to the third round, and played a very tough game there. But what did you enjoy most about last year, especially as a sophomore, getting a lot of playing time?
Yeah, a lot of it was, getting out on the field was the big thing, getting to play, and the camaraderie. On the freshman team we had it, but it seems like as you move up the levels, the more and more there is.
Talk a little bit about just that moving up from the level. What was it like for you to be so young? As a sophomore getting to play on varsity, what was that like for you stepping up from JV to varsity?
It was a little bit of pressure, because being young and competing with older guys for spots and stuff, that was difficult. But it was definitely a good learning experience. And now that I've had those past reps, now I'm a better offensive lineman for it.
Speaking of past reps, had a good season, a good off season, if you will. Didn't have to start football late like we did last year. Talk a little bit about the off season, maybe some things that you worked on to help improve your play, man.
Definitely my feet. I have a pretty notorious cinder block feet, and on pass rush, as my defensive lineman over there can testify to. But yeah, just getting back on pass rush and not jumping when we do the field goal extras.
Well, Thomas, it's incredible, and I love talking to you guys on the line because you hear so much of the skill positions. You hear from quarterbacks, you hear from receivers, you hear from running backs. You guys are the unsung heroes. And talk to us a little bit just about that role of being on the line, protecting your quarterback, protecting your running back, making lanes for him. Talk about just how much that means to you and really what kind of weight does that put on your shoulders? Because at the end of the day, those gaps aren't there if you guys aren't there.
Yeah, well, our job is just to go out there and hit them in the teeth and make sure they're hurting after each play, and make those gaps so AJ and the running backs can run through there and score those touchdowns.
What's your favorite play on the offense? What would be your favorite play?
Denver and Broncos, just straight up the middle.
Awesome. All right, man. I want to ask you this, and I talked to Coach Southern about this. The defense, a lot of young guys. Do you, as an offensive guy, do you feel a little bit more pressure this year on the offensive side?
A little bit. Like in the game, we had to score a couple more points than we had to last year to win games, but I trust those defensive linemen. I mean, we go against them in practice, and they're pretty good.
All right, man. We're continuing to talk here to Thomas Rose, a junior offensive lineman. Last week, you guys are down 10-0 early. On the offensive side, what's going through your mind? What do you think, man, this is what we need to do to get back in this? What was going through your mind?
Well, it was just scoring. There wasn't anything that I think as a group we were messing up on. It was just the getting set and getting ready. We just needed to do a better job of speeding up on that.
On the offensive side, false starts, that's one thing that coaches always kind of cringe on. How do you work through that? How do you guys stay disciplined to not move early on a snap?
Well, you just have to get used to it, and that's what the experience helps, not jumping.
We've got a couple last questions. I always like to ask as we go back to last week. I mean, what did you enjoy most about that game?
Well, I enjoyed hitting 7 and driving him down the field.
All right, man. Looking ahead this week, facing Kingwood, a team that you guys have had a lot of success. How are you preparing? What are you looking forward to versus Kingwood, man?
Well, we're setting up for that different front, the 3-man front, which is not what we practice normally against, and practicing getting off to those linebackers, and which is, not getting buried in double teams and that sort of thing.
Role models, man, who have you looked up to help you kind of guide where you're at?
Oh.
Anybody that you can think of in particular, a family member, someone that you've seen play professionally?
No professional players. I know my father is probably the biggest role model for me. Gets up at 3 and, works until noon and gets off of work, and he this past week he's been helping my grandparents move, and so even after being all tired from all that, he's still getting up and moving. So
awesome. You know what? I always say the mamas play. Let's give it up for the daddies too, man. How about the daddies out there? It's good to have good daddies, man, and I think that's incredible. I like to ask you guys, Huntsville, a great community. What does it mean to you to put on that green, man, and to wear Buzzy? What does that mean to you to be a Hornet?
Well, it's a sense of pride. We have the set precedent of, success, and so it's a standard that we have to live up to.
Who's your favorite coach on the team?
Who's my favorite coach?
I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that.
Oh, okay.
Sam, Mr. Moke over there's like, whoa, we don't want to ask that question. Well, finally, man, hobbies. What do you like to do outside of football? Anything. What do you? If someone said, "Hey, let's go do this," what would you want to go do? Or what's something you really enjoy outside of football?
Outside of football, I like doing extra engineering projects. I have my class with Mr. Sievert. We design different things and 3D print them, and that's the sort of thing I enjoy.
I love that, man. Awesome. Future plans. You talked about Baylor. What are you doing to work towards that, man? What do you want to do to really put into work to get to that point?
Well, I spent the summer studying for the SAT and PSAT. All
right. Hey, academics, we talk about that a lot. That's good, man. Camera's right there on you. And I just looked at the numbers. We are at 6,000, actually 600,000 people are watching right now. So who do you want to give a shout out to tonight, man?
I'd like to shout out the other offensive linemen, first of all. We're a brotherhood of bigs. We don't have, success if one of us messes up. We all get yelled at. And then I'd like to call out the coaches, Coach Brock and Coach Saint, who do encourage us and keep us moving.
Awesome. Well, man, I like it. I think you and I can go into the T-shirt business. We're going to make T-shirts that say the Brotherhood of Bigs, and we're gonna market these to offensive linemen all across the U.S. What do you think, man?
I think it'd work.
All right, man. We'll do a 70-30 split. I'll give you 70%. You'll be doing the hard work. How about that?
Thank you.
All right, man. Well, let's give it up one more time. Junior offensive lineman Thomas Rose. Thomas, great to have you, man. Appreciate you. We're going to step aside. We'll take a break. We're having a lot of fun here tonight at True Texas Barbecue. When we come back, we'll talk to our senior defensive lineman, Mr. Troy Joseph. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network.
Are you looking for a tractor and need a better option than the high-priced orange and green guys? Look no further than the world-renowned Yanmar tractor. Small compact options and ranch-sized 60-horsepower units available. Yanmar's 10-year powertrain warranty says it all. Lone Star Outdoor Power Equipment has a huge inventory of Yanmar tractors in stock. Stop by today and test drive a new Yanmar tractor and see the difference. Lone Star Outdoor Power Equipment located across from McCoy's on 75 South.
See Lone Star Outdoor Power Equipment online at LoneStarOutdoorPower.com.
Have you checked out the new Husky RV and Trailer Service on Highway 19 yet? Husky RV and Trailer Service is servicing all types of trailers, lowboys, flatbeds, enclosed trailers, stock trailers, travel trailers, and RVs. They have all types of services too. They do brakes, axles, wheel bearings, lighting, suspension, fenders, welding, anything on campers, travel trailers, and RVs. You can feel secure knowing that a Husky RV and Trailer Service has a fully fenced yard and security cameras for your peace of mind when leaving your RVs or trailers for repair or service. Quality parts and service all in one location. Come check out the new Husky RV and Trailer Service next to Husky Trailers at 914 State Highway 19. Open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. Call 936-439-6065. That's 936-439-6065. Husky RV and Trailer Service.
All right, we're back at it. True Texas Barbecue. Having a good time tonight. A lot of fun. Ben, I love Wednesday night. I used to go to church on Wednesday nights, and I'm new to Huntsville, and I haven't found a good church home yet to connect with that has a Wednesday night service. So, you know what, man, I love being here with you guys, and let's give it up for our senior defensive lineman, Mr. Troy Joseph, in the barbecue house tonight. Come on, man. Did you get any barbecue today, man?
No, I was planning on it. I was going to get something after, probably.
What's your favorite barbecue? What's your favorite food, man? Maybe it's not barbecue.
Shrimp Alfredo.
Shrimp Alfredo.
That's number one.
All right, man.
Yeah. Barbecue's probably next.
When's the last time you ate the shrimp Alfredo, man?
Shrimp Alfredo. I probably had some a week ago, I think.
Awesome. Who made it?
Mama.
How about mamas and shrimp Alfredo?
Yeah.
That's the best. I got a beautiful fiance at home, man. She knows how to cook, man. So you know what?
One of those.
When you got a good mama and mama's cook, and then one day you're going to meet a nice lady and she's going to cook, and that's going to help on that defensive line side. So that's what it's all about. Well, Troy, you've been in Huntsville your whole life, right, man?
Whole life, yeah, born and raised.
Tell us a little bit about that, man. What's it been like for you being here in Huntsville?
Oh, yeah, mostly it's been watching football because, my uncle played 6 years ago, brother played 3 years ago, and now I'm playing. So my whole life has just been football.
What does that feel like, to kind of follow in the family footsteps and be out there on the gridiron, man?
I just feel ready. I've been watching them, so they've been telling me all the knowledge they got, so I'm ready to step up, and it's my turn now.
What year did you start playing football?
7th grade.
7th grade,
yeah,
awesome,
man.
man.
Middle school.
Any other sports outside of that?
Wrestling.
Yeah. All right, man. I think one of the first wrestlers we got up in here. Don't wrestle me, dude, because you'll break my neck. I just said, when I was your age, I weighed about 110 pounds, and I couldn't even lift the bar, and it was pathetic. How much does a bar weigh, like 50 pounds?
45, yeah.
Yeah, see, he's making it sound even more. He said 45. I couldn't lift the bar, dude, so I just want to let that out there, and that's why I stayed single till I was 30.
You got it now, right?
I got the bar now, man. I'm at 51 pounds, my friend.
Okay, that's better.
Well, Troy, it's been a fun journey for you. Now, this is your first season playing on varsity as a senior now. What has that been like for you, man?
Well, yeah, it was a lot of pressure at first because, I'm in the spot of everybody knows 99, everybody, I'm feeling that spot. But at the same time, a lot of what Coach Southern preaches, it's not really replacing someone. It's just putting someone in a new spot. So I just feel like it's my turn. I'm ready.
Have any of those guys mentored you over the years?
Definitely. Ed and Brian, both of those. They took over. But before that, T and Bryson Hayes, Q, all them guys, Sebastian, those guys were the first to, show me the ropes and show me how it's all done.
What was some things that you saw that they did that you said, man, I want to play like that? What were some things that you saw that you just said, this is incredible, I want to do that?
Celebrations.
Right, celebrations.
After they get the hit. Of course, I want the hits as well, but, the celebrations, the crowd, it looks like it feels good.
What's it like playing, under the home crowd? A lot of folks show up to the Hornet games. What's that been like for you?
It's crazy. The lights, first of all. Yeah, and I try to see everybody in the crowd, but my eyesight's not that good, so I just wave to whoever I can't see.
Well, we'll look for you, and we'll wave back at you from the booth, man. How's that going?
Gotcha.
And big thing, the new stadium's going to be here in a couple of years. Now, of course, you won't get to play in that new stadium, but you've already got to practice on the turf. What has that been like, just playing on that new turf out there, practicing on it?
The turf, it's hard, right? So whenever I fall or if I'm on my knee, it hurts. It's sharp, but it looks good. So I can't complain too much.
All right, it may be to toughen, to get a little bit more tough, man.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
All right. Well, we're continuing to talk to Troy Joseph here, senior defensive lineman. Last season, I know that you weren't on varsity, but from you looking on the outside, looking in, what'd you enjoy about it, man? And on the JV squad, what'd you enjoy? You guys have had a lot of success there too. I don't want to leave that out.
Yeah, no, it was brotherhood with both teams. So I just enjoyed the family environment we all had when we won, when we lost too. When we lost, we didn't go apart. It was all family. It was a family loss, family win. That's what I enjoy about it.
On the JV squad, I just mentioned you guys have had a lot of success. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, it's a winning tradition. It seems like in every sport right now with Huntsville, man.
In JV, mostly JV always gonna win. So we got really good coaches. We got really good coaches in JV, freshman, varsity, middle school even. So that's why we have our success. We got to thank our coaches for that.
What have you learned during this offseason, man, as you've transitioned now to play at the varsity level? What have you learned in practice and camp and those kind of things?
I just learned that you got to adapt really quick. So, I got thrown into this position really fast. It came by quick. So, you had to adapt really fast. You got to learn quick. You got to be ready.
What's been the toughest challenge for you being at that position now?
Being a smaller defensive lineman, you got to play a little bit different. But I am quick, so that helps me a little bit.
Your defense, and I'm not continuing to harp on it, but it's a lot of young guys now. Of course, you're a senior, but what has that been like? And how do you, as a senior on the varsity team, how do you kind of lead the other younger guys this year?
Actually, I lead them, but at the same time, it is my first year, so I'm learning as well. So I like that we can all learn together, and I can help them grow. So when I leave, they'll hopefully be better than me.
What are some of the good things that you've seen so far out of this defense this early season? I know we're only one game into it, but what are some of the highlights that you've seen so far?
I look mostly at the young guys making the plays, because if I see them making plays now, just imagine what they'll do in like 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
I like that, man. We talked with Coach about that earlier, just about it being so young that there's so much growth potential. Where do you feel like you can improve on? Again, I know it's only one game under your varsity belt, but through one game you already know some things that you got to work on. What are those?
Definitely pass rush, and recognizing the play a lot.
Your thoughts last week versus Willis? It was a 10-0 early lead, but then the offense came roaring back. You guys played well as the game went on. What are your thoughts on that game last week?
Yeah, we started off a little rocky, but, we got back into the groove, especially after halftime. After halftime, we usually get back into our thing, So, not really worried about it.
What goes on, at halftime, just for the fan that's interested? What really kind of rallies you guys at that halftime moment that you're in the locker room? Now, don't repeat some things, but what goes on, man?
Boss man over there, he gives us a long speech. I don't complain about it because it's good. Everything he says goes into one ear and stays there.
Do you ever have some of those moments? That's good. See, he goes, I let it go in one ear and it stays there. Because a lot of times it go in one and out the other. This young man knows. Hey, you've got a lot of wisdom already, man. Do you ever feel like sometimes, your coaches are getting you guys fired up? Do you ever just feel like running through a brick wall, man? Like you've got that much energy from the way you guys are coached?
Every day you got to have that energy. If you want to play this sport, you got to have it.
What's your favorite thing about practice? Practice can be fun. What's your favorite thing about it?
Pass rush. That's number one. That's what I get ready for. I hope for it every day. We don't do it every day. I wish we did. Coach Southern, can we, but yeah, pass rush definitely.
As you're running out there onto the field, at the very beginning of the game, kind of what's going through your mind, man, as you look around and you see the fans and you're stoked, you're excited. What's going through your mind at the start of every game?
Mostly I'm just trying to find my sister because my little sister, she's a GG, so she'll be right there, sitting right there watching me. So I just try to look for her and watch her and let her know I'm right there.
Man. I love that. Talking about your sister, love that, man. We've talked about where you feel that you can improve. You talk a lot about the pass rush, looking ahead to Kingwood. What's in your game plan, man? Just don't give away the team game plan, but what's in your game plan? What do you got to do this week coming up?
Well, Coach Schroeder, Coach Smith, they really break it down well for us. In the team room, we watch film, we're going over everything. They really get us set up, and we know what type of offense they are. We know what they're going to do when they come out there, so I feel like we're ready for it.
This is another question I like to ask, man. You're sitting here, you're bored 20 years from now. You get on, who knows, man, how the computers are going to be in 20 years. But you're Googling your name. This interview pops up. Camera's right there. What do you tell your future self 20 years from now?
Oof, man.
It's deep, man. It's real deep. You feeling that one?
Yeah, hopefully. Well, in 20 years, I hope to be probably retired football player.
You got to tell
maybe
yourself, man. You're right there, man.
All right.
So he said, what was it? You're on the right track, man. It's
in
up
20
to you.
years, you better be a retired NFL player. Sports psychologist, too, is what I plan on doing. So hope that's going good. Hope you got a wife and kids. Hope they're doing good.
Awesome, man. I love that. I like asking that because it just really – it's deep. It really is, right? You think about it, man. And those are the kind of things that, sometimes you don't think about. So 20 years from now, you got a lot of success behind you, man. And the best – I always encourage you guys, and you know this, the best is always yet to come, man. Hobbies outside of football, what do you like to do?
Honestly, I'm a simple guy. I just like to hang out with my family. That's it.
Cool. Future plans?
Future plans? Are you talking about
where do you want
after high school?
Yeah, where do you want to be next year, man?
Next year, I hope to play college, either football, and if football doesn't work out, I want to wrestle and major in sports psychology.
Cool, man. If you could travel anywhere in the world, somebody just said, hey, I'm taking you to this place, where would you want to go?
Dubai.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just beautiful. I just want to see it.
Awesome, man. Well, finally, camera's right there on you. Who do you want to send a little love to tonight here from True Texas Barbecue?
Number one, I got to shout out my cousin Brandon. He was mad last time. I didn't shout him out, so shout out Heifa, and my family, my sisters, Tori, Kiwi, my brothers, Ashton, Zaki, my mama. Got to shout out mama. Yeah. And Granny. Shout out Granny.
Awesome, man. The grandmas are important too, man. Let's give it up for the grandmas, man. I lost my grandma after a long time, man, and so I want to encourage you, just as I did over the past, especially 15 years, man. Talk to your grandma as much as you can, man, because they are very special people. So, well, hey, man, we love all you guys, and Troy, very proud of you, and it was great talking to you, great talking to Thomas Rose. I know the community loves you guys. We're behind you 100%, and all we can do is get out there and sting them, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir.
give it up one more time. Senior defensive lineman right here with us tonight, Mr. Troy Joseph. Good to have you, Troy. We'll keep it rocking and rolling as we'll bring back one final segment coming up. We'll hear from our great booster club. It's the Hornet Quarterback Club coming up with what's going on. You want to stay with us. We'll be right back from our good friends here at True Texas Barbecue on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network. Stay with us.
Firestone Complete Auto Care in Huntsville is having an epic event this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Spend over $500 and get $100 off tires and service. Spend $200 and get $50 off tires and service on all cars, trucks, and SUVs. Includes any other current special offers. See store for details. No need for an appointment. Just stop by. This epic event is going on this Thursday through Sunday. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 7. Sundays, 9 to 5. Call 936-295-6409 or go online at FirestoneCompleteAutoCare.com. Firestone, located in the parking lot at Home Depot. Drive a Firestone.
They don't build cars like they used to, and they don't repair them like they used to either. Today's vehicles contain advanced lightweight materials and safety features like crumple zones and sensors that help protect your family. Repairing them properly after a collision requires up-to-date training. Amaya's Collision Center at 686 I-45 has it. They're among only 15% of shops to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold-class business. When you pick a collision repair shop, make the smart choice for your family's safety. Choose gold-class trained repair professionals. Choose Amaya's Collision Center, 686 I-45.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You guys having a good time tonight as we wrap up? Final segment. Brian, I'm so thankful you're here because at least there's a Brian here tonight. I was a little sad because Brian Adams couldn't be here tonight, but I said, you know what, Brian? We still got another Brian, and it's Brian Carroll, the president of the Huntsville Hornet Quarterback Club. You guys missing Brian Adams tonight, by the way? Brian, I'm not really because, Brian, I love you, but you're out on the lake with your sister at Lake Travis in Austin. So, you know what? Have fun, buddy. I hope you enjoy it for all of us. So,
Right. Well, yeah, I am a Brian, and I did play football, but not for Sam Houston. So.
Hey, you got a state championship ring, though, man.
That is correct. 1989 3A state champion Mahab Black Cats.
All right. Let's give it up for the 3A. back. And, there may be some people that didn't know that. When I first met you, I think the second time you had told me about that. And, of course, got a good friend, Freddie Guerrero, over at Gertime Media back in Mejia, and just a wonderful community. But let's talk specifically about our great community here in Huntsville.
Yes, sir.
First game under your belt with the quarterback club. Kind of tell us how this is going for you guys so far. How's the season been, and what's cooking with you guys, man?
Hey, we're having a great season with the quarterback club. We got several things in works going on right now. We are looking we're about to order some new spirit gear through the quarterback club. So for those of you that's been asking for it, hey, it's going to be coming up really fast. And if you're a bigger type person and you need an extended size, hey, let us know up front, because we're not going to order a great deal of those, but hey, we will get you some ordered in here. So anyways, we'll be having some adult size new gear coming in. Some new hats. We're looking at some other projects that we're working on for the Booster Club. So,
Brian, I know you wanted to look at me, and you were going to say, Rob, we even will come up with a size for you. So I appreciate that.
Hey, man. Well, you never know. So if I announce it in advance, because I don't want to order and somebody not have one, and I'd rather order it in advance and let them know. So hey.
Well, you guys are doing an incredible job, with everything that's going on, and now this season finally getting fans. We can be at 100% capacity. Kiddos are running on the field. Hornet Buddies has been going on. What are some of the exciting things in the works? And then I'll get to the next question about, I know that you need some help in some certain areas, but what has been exciting for y'all so far?
Sure. I guess something that we did this year that we hadn't done before was at the towel scrimmages. We did a barbecue fundraiser there, which was really successful there. And first off, I want to thank the community for their support for the towel scrimmage. They don't realize what a great help that is to the program by their donation of towels for this scrimmage. And so that's something that we talked about, that they're looking forward to continuing on next year as that goes on. We're going to try to look into having a tailgate at Bauer Stadium if possible. That's something that we're going to have here in the works coming up. And we'll be having our new spirit gear hopefully pretty soon. So that will be available. We're going to bring some to the games to sell at the games. And of course, we'll have that available during the underclassmen games at the concession stand there at the field at Hornets Field.
We're talking to Brian Carroll here, president of the Huntsville Hornet Quarterback Club. Brian, you just mentioned concessions. I know that there's some help that needs to be there. Can you go ahead and put that out there so people know? I know you need some help in those concession stands.
Sure. You can always use help in the concession stands, and the way that it would really, on paper, would work out just great was if we could get parents from Mance Park, if y'all were available to volunteer on Thursday nights to help run the concession stand on Thursday night games, so that the parents of the JV and freshman teams could travel or watch their kids play. And then on Monday and Tuesday nights, we can get some JV and freshman and varsity parents in there to help work the concession stands on those evenings. And it kind of just switches off, and it makes it a lot easier that way, that everyone's available to watch their student athlete play. And that's the main thing, is always stress to a parent and stuff is, hey, I want you to be able to watch your kid play. And so we have an officer that will always be there at the concession stand. We got it set up to where we have officers that are open and officers that are closed the concession stand down. So
Brian, as you're talking, I want to help out, man. I have a way to create a neon light, and I'm gonna take care of this myself. And so for anyone that shows up at those concession stands, just as we do here at this show, where we want folks to come out and they can register to get in the drawing at the end of the season for 4 footballs. We're gonna give away 4 footballs. I'm gonna get you guys a really cool neon sign with the Huntsville Hornets, and you tell the folks that come there to put their name in every time they volunteer. And how about we give away that at the end for the folks volunteering, man? Let's do that.
Well, first off, we appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. And also, I'd like to say that one of our other boosters, Mr. Sam Moak, has also offered an estate life planning, discounted estate life planning for everyone that comes out. We'll register you for that, and at the end of October, we'll have a drawing, and the winner of that can get with Sam and have a discounted state life planning set up for
Perfect.
him. So.
Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you. A lot of people in the community stepping up and helping out, and so come out, support the Hornet Quarterback Club as we're about to sign off here. Brian, always appreciate you and what you do. And, again, you don't have to have a kid in the program to be involved. So come out, support the Hornets, and let's keep them rocking and rolling. Brian, final thoughts before we go, man?
Man, I just want to say it was great seeing all the people out at the game the other night. I don't know how many people was there, but I know it was, I'm going to say 3,000 or 4,000 people. I mean, literally, the Sam Houston home side was filled up the other night. So it was great being out there, great watching the kids play, great watching the Hornet buddies come running down the field. So it was an exciting time. Don't forget also that the cheerleaders have the programs there for sale, so you can come out and get yourself a souvenir program. We have one of the best high school football programs I've ever seen.
Amazing. Yeah.
So we'll get a copy in here next time and show that off, because those programs are just tremendous put together. So.
Great. Well, Brian, appreciate all that you do and the board members and the members of the Huntsville Hornet Quarterback Club. Let's give them a round of applause one final time tonight. Been a fun one here. As always, I want to thank Carlos Zimmerman. There's a lot of folks in the background that helped to make this possible. So Carlos Zimmerman is back at KSAM Studios helping to produce this over the FM radio. So thank you, Carlos. And for everyone here, Coach Southern and all the staff, and again, our sponsors that are here tonight, Miss Stephanie Pitts from Advantage Specialties, Sam Moak from Moak & Moak Attorneys at Law, and then Justin Kring, who made a guest appearance tonight. He's a big Hornet fan, and so I love seeing these kids graduate, and then they're still connected. It's so important. For the players that were here, again, our junior offensive lineman, Thomas Rose, senior defensive lineman, Troy Joseph, thank you guys for being here as well. As we'll close it out one final time, a big thank you to True Texas Barbecue. Our season presenting sponsor is our friends at First Financial Bank. And as I remind you on every single broadcast, I want to remind you tonight that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own, friends. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. I guarantee that somebody out there tonight needs you. As we sign off on the count of three, we'll say it loud and proud. We never forget. We'll say Sting 'em Hornets. Are you ready, Huntsville? 1, 2, 3.
Sting 'em Hornets!
We'll see you Friday. Good night, and God bless from True Texas Barbecue.
Local COVID expert